the writer, director, and actor of Somewhere in Queens, available in theaters on Friday, April 21st. Ray Romano, great to see you, Ray.
Thank you. Good to be back.
So you play a dad of a kid who's really good at basketball in high school.
Yes.
And I guess that's one way to set it up, but I'll have you set up the rest.
Yeah, and he's about to graduate, and this basketball his career is about to end, and the dad is struggling with that because he likes living vicariously through this and the excitement he gets when he goes to watch him, and especially before each game, the kid gives him a little point, and that's what we're about to see, how he gets how the father just loves this experience, that he gets watching his kid play.
Nothing like the father.
That's all going to end, though.
That's as many sports glory moments do, in fact.
Yes, I mean it's based on what I was going through. The germ of the story came from what I was going through at the time. My son played for Campbell Hall here in L.A.
Oh, the famed Campbell Hall here in Los Angeles, California,
with the Holiday brothers, Drew Holiday. And are you making fun?
No, I am not. No, I'm not. I've got Ray Romano, by the way, here. A radio audience just returned here on the Rich Eisen Show. Just saw a clip of Somewhere in Queens. The writer, director, actor, great cast: Laurie Metcalf, Sebastian Maniscalco, Tony LoBianco, and more. No, I'm not. As a matter of fact, the word is LeBron wants to move his kids to the.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my son played with. He played 4 years with Aaron Holiday, but Drew Holiday had just graduated before that.
Yes.
And that was. This was his last game, and I knew he wasn't going to play in college, and I got very emotional, man. I got emotional because I loved the experience, and if I'm being honest, I love being the father of the star player.
Yeah.
And it was all going to end, and that was the idea. Was what if this was for some guy who that's all he had? His life was, he felt very small in his real life. He felt invisible. And he was living vicariously through this, and that was the idea for the story. Yeah.
And of course, what a dad will do to make sure that the son might continue the sports career, even if it's not something he wants to have happen.
Yes, and I wanted it to take place in my hometown, Queens, in this world of these Italian American working class people. I made it specific to that, but the goal is it appeals to everybody just because it's about family.
Sure.
So,
yeah, I'm from Staten Island, New York, and which is, I guess, as Queens as you can possibly get. That's not Queens.
It's three pizza places over. That's all it is. Yeah.
It's a Joe and Pat's over, and so they felt very familiar to me.
Oh, good.
To be honest.
Good, well, that was the goal. Yeah.
And Tony LoBianco, man. I mean, he's old school. It was a great cast. Sebastian Maniscalco. Have you ever done stand-up with Sebastian?
We did during the filming of it. We went down to the Comedy Cellar, and we back-to-back popped up on stage. Yeah, that was the first time ever. I met him on The Irishman. We were both lucky enough to be in The Irishman.
Yeah.
So we had a little friendship. I golfed with him. And then I threw him this script. I said, "Come play my obnoxious brother," and,
right.
And he did it in a second. And by the way, he's the sweetest guy. He plays this real schmuck, but he's a real nice dude. Yeah.
Well, it's the acting, right?
It's acting.
It's the acting.
It's acting. Yes.
So just in the middle of shooting, you're like, let's go do stand up on the Comedy
Cellar
one night.
Yeah. I mean, we were filming in New York.
Yeah.
I have an apartment in Manhattan that's 11 minutes from the Cellar. That's my home club.
Yeah.
I told him I'm going. He said he'll come. And he went up, did 20 minutes, and I did 20 right after. Yeah, it was fun.
And nobody knew? They're just like
nobody knew.
Sebastian Maniscalco and Ray Romano just did back-to-backs.
Yeah, it was a little pop-in for the audience. Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, man, I'd love that.
By the way, I never in my a million years would I think I would be overdressed for the Rich Eisen.
No. You've got I appreciate the sport code.
I think I remember the last time I was seeing. Didn't you have a jacket? Didn't you used to do it?
I might have. Yeah, I did. I've graduated to the zip-up sweatshirt.
You should have told me.
You look great, Ray. You look great. When you say the Comedy Cellar is your home spot, what do you mean by that? That was the first place that you did it?
No, it wasn't the first place, but it's where I got all my stage time in eventually. But I popped all over the city. The first time ever was the Improv, which doesn't exist anymore. It's on 44. It was on 44th and 9th.
Yeah.
One of the first clubs ever in the country, really. And that was the first time ever I stepped foot on a stand-up stage. I became a regular there eventually, and then I became a regular at the Cellar. And then the Cellar more became my base, you know? And so now whenever I'm in the city, if I have a free night, without a doubt, I walk down to the Cellar and I go on. That's probably the only place where I do stand-up except for Vegas. By the way, this is live, right?
Yes, it is.
Can I plug Vegas? Because
go for it, please.
Because I'm at the Mirage this weekend, and it's a 1,200-seat theater, and there's 600 seats left.
Let's go. Let's go. No, we're by the way, we're on in Vegas on the radio as well. So
it's a great show. I'm there with Brian Regan. I don't know if you know who Brian Regan is, but he's a great comic. Yeah.
Well, fantastic.
Yeah, and the opening is the guy who plays Petey in the movie, my friend John Manfrotati. Yeah.
So you're there this weekend.
I do Vegas about six or seven times a year. I do a weekend at the Mirage, which is now the Hard Rock. I do a Friday, Saturday. I used to do it with David Spade. We co-headline, and he since has gone somewhere else. So this is my first weekend with Brian Regan. Yeah.
Who was at the Comedy Cellar or the Improv when you were starting out? Like who were the comics that you?
It was like Jon Stewart, Dennis Leary, Chappelle was coming around there. Chris Rock wasn't really a Cellar act, but he would pop in.
Right.
Louis C.K. was there. Dave Attell was there. You know, yeah. I mean, it was a nice crew. Mark Maron was on there.
Right. And who was the first late night break you got? Like, what late night show were you on?
Well, I got to do Johnny before he retired.
What the hell was that like?
It was 1991, and he retired about 5 months later. I mean, it's the pinnacle. It's the thing. It's the dream. Yeah. Right. It was so nerve-wracking. And the next big one was my first Letterman, which was, I want to say 5 years later. And that led to Everybody Loves Raymond. Letterman produced my show.
Worldwide Pants.
Yeah, Worldwide Pants.
Sure.
Yeah. So, but the first thing, was Johnny Carson. I was about 6 years in the business when I got that. Yeah.
So what made you want to just do stand-up to begin with? Or just a kid in Queens growing up? You made friends laugh and you figured, try it?
Yeah, kind of the funny guy. There was a funniest guy in the neighborhood. It wasn't me. You always hear this story, too. You always hear like the comedians say, I wasn't even the funniest dude in my neighborhood. And I was by far. There was this other guy.
Do you remember his name?
I do, John Oliver. John Oliver was...
Not the John, obviously.
No, not that John Oliver.
Different accent.
No, American John Oliver.
The Queen's John Oliver?
Yeah, Queen's John Oliver. Funniest dude. And we started a little group, and we put on sketches. This is when Saturday Night Live was starting, So we started emulating them, and we put on sketches for there was a teen club that once every month the teenagers were allowed to go into the basement of the church, and they had ping pong and knock hockey and a stage, And we decided, knock hockey.
Yeah.
We decided to put on a sketch show, and we wrote our own sketches, and that was my first taste of it. But then I didn't really, I thought maybe I'll be an actor. I don't know. And then someone told me about an audition night at the Improv. I was working at a gas station, I remember, and an old buddy pulled in, and he said he went to the audition night at the Improv. And I go, what's it like? He told me, and I called up the club, and they say you come down, you pick a number out of a hat first Sunday of every month. You pick a number out of a hat, and we give out 20 numbers, and if you're one of those 20, you go on that night. Mm-hmm. And I remember I brought a girl I knew from the neighborhood so we could both pick, and I told her if you get a number and I don't, they ask your name, tell them I wanted to give them an androgynous name. So I said, Jackie Roberts, give him Jackie Roberts. And that's what happened. I went on as Jackie Roberts that night.
Because she picked it?
I got a blank and she picked it. There's about 50 guys pulling for 20 numbers. And
Jackie Roberts.
And then the owner of the club, Silver Friedman, she said, if you get a call back, if they like you get a call back.
Yeah. I
got a call back to come back next month. And so I had to go for the first couple of months. I was Jackie Roberts.
You got to keep playing it out.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't. What am I going to tell? Then I just told her. Finally, I said, that's my stage name. I'm going to go back with Ray Romano. Yeah.
Ray Romano here on the Rich Eisen Show. So was that when you were going to Shea and watching the Richard Todd Jets and the Ed Kranepool Mets and back in the day? Is that
I heard you guys talking in the green room, and I know you said when you were a Jet fan.
Yeah.
I was around for Namath, but I was too young.
Yeah.
This is how sad it is. I probably became a Jet fan 2 months after they won the Super Bowl, So it's been a long stretch for me, man. It's been a long stretch.
Now, I would imagine you've crossed paths with Aaron Rodgers at a lot of these AT&T golf tournaments, the Tahoe tournament.
I played in a skin game for charity with him at Pebble. Yeah.
And I mean,
I love the guy. I mean, I'm ready. I want him. Yeah. Why do you want him, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
because we're ready. We're ready to win. You know.
Yeah.
By the way, I also haven't given up on Zach. You know, and
he's still young enough that if like Rodgers.
Isn't Rodgers his hero? Isn't Rodgers his hero?
Well, they apparently really got along when they practiced with one another or ran into one another or they know each other. Like, look, I don't ever consider Aaron Rodgers like a bridge quarterback where, okay, you stick around for 2 years and then Zach will be ready. But if that's the way it goes, that's better than what we saw last year. I mean, holy cow.
By the way, what do you think it is with Zach? Because I think he has the arm. He has the speed. He's just maybe up here, right?
I don't know. Yeah. It could be that. It just
not that he doesn't have it, but it takes time before you get it, right?
And New York, as you know, is not the easiest thing out there.
I'm about to show you what it's like getting old.
Okay, what do you got? The phone?
This is my take my pills alarm. but
maybe Zach has the take my football pills alarm that doesn't go off. Maybe his my gosh.
I took my pills already.
I was about to say, I mean, I'm more than happy to pause the interview if you require, your medication right now.
I took them I got to take them before I go on the air.
I don't know if is that a metaphor for the Jets that you have to remember to take your pills in the middle of talking about the Jets because you can't get through it without being medicated? I mean, that's the whole thing too. The Aaron Rodgers went in his darkness room and I thought to myself, no better way to prepare yourself for the Jets than to sit in solitude and darkness, which I've been doing for 53 years. You know what I mean?
By the way, would you ever do that? Would you ever go in a dark room? That would, oh my God.
Without your phone? Really?
I get the creeps just thinking of it. Yeah. Crazy.
No, but yes, I do want Aaron Rodgers.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too. I'm ready. Look, we got some cool players, man.
You're ready to go.
Yeah.
I know. So I'm ready for that.
Let's see what happens.
Ray Romano here on the Rich Eisen Show again. Somewhere in Queens, available Friday, April 21st in theaters. We have a game we call Celebrity True or False, Ray, where there are things about your career that are out there on the old internets and the Wikipedia page, and we need to know if they're true or false.
You found stuff?
I have found stuff.
Really?
We have found stuff, and we also have some fantastic production value to go along with it. Hit it, please.
Celebrity True or False?
You can't handle the truth.
There we go. Celebrity True or False with Ray Romano. First up, true or false, you originally planned to become an accountant. Is that true or false?
I took accounting in college, and my mother would tell everybody that I'm going to be an accountant, but I don't know that. Numbers. I was good with numbers.
You were good with numbers.
Yeah.
Even to this day, you're good with the numbers?
Pretty good with numbers, and I know every capital of every country.
You do?
Yes. I'm not smart, though. You have to know one thing. I'm the dumbest guy in the world who knows the capital of every country.
So if we created something right now
on
the spot?
I'm pretty sure.
Chris,
I'm a little rusty, but I'm pretty sure.
Chris, can we pop up a few questions for the use the internets, the Googles?
Let me get.
Chris?
If I get 4 out of 5, we're good, right?
Sure. 4 out of 5 or 2. How about 2 out of 3 ain't bad? We'll do the whole meatloaf.
Okay.
Chris, you got a couple for Ray Romano?
Yeah, let's just start right off the bat. Austria
is Vienna. That's an easy one.
Easy one. We're just easing you into it.
Okay.
Belarus.
Minsk.
That's correct. Yeah. Bulgaria.
Sofia.
Okay. Either way.
Correct.
3 for 3.
Congo.
Which one? The Democratic Republic of the Congo?
Wow.
Yeah.
Next level.
Yeah.
Chris?
I'll take either.
The Democratic Republic of the Congo is this. Okay, give me a minute. Is it Kinshasa?
Correct. Wow.
Again, I'm the dumbest guy who knows this.
No, that's not true. We can't say that. You can't say that. You want to go for a fifth one?
This is what I did during COVID. I just memorized capitals.
Well, let's see.
I did it so I wanted to prove myself. That I wasn't going to get Alzheimer's.
I'm going way down the list.
You're going deep down the list. Okay, what do you got? Last one.
Liechtenstein.
Oh.
Is Liechtenstein. He tried to trick me on that one.
There you go. Ray Romano.
But I did it. I actually did it because I wanted to prove I still have. I'm not going to get Alzheimer's. And my doctor said, it doesn't mean you're not going to get it. It just means you don't have it now. That's what it means.
And you can also do your own taxes. All right, next up, true or false, Ray Romano, you made the initial cast of News Radio, but when the show got picked up, you were replaced by Joe Rogan, and therefore you were free the next year to create a show called Everybody Loves Raymond. Yes, true or false?
Mostly true.
Okay.
I was fired on day 2 of rehearsal. I did get the role. I was cast in News Radio.
Uh-huh.
And
what happened?
I was young, and I had a great audition for the guy. He saw me do a stand-up, and he called me in for an audition, and it just clicked, and it went off. But every step after, I could feel a little bit like it was in over my head, and they still cast me. I had to go out to LA. I was living in New York. I went to LA, and I was going to make $8,000 an episode, and my wife and I had 3 little kids at the time, and we had day 1 of rehearsal, and we knew the show was getting picked up because it was Phil Hartman, Andy Dick, Laura Tierney. And on day 2, at 6:30 in the morning, the phone rang in my hotel room, and it was my manager. And as soon as my manager said, "Hey, Ray," I knew. I knew it in my gut. And they were going. They actually said it. They're going in a different direction. And and they brought in Joe Rogan. Yeah.
But
about 4 or 5 months later, I did my Letterman spot. And like I said before, that Letterman spot led to Everybody Loves Raymond.
So they Letterman's company or Letterman himself?
Letterman, Letterman occasionally would sign a comic to a holding deal, to try to develop a show for them. I think she did it with Bonnie Hunt. She was trying to develop a show for, They called me after my Letterman spot. This is my first one. On Saturday, I was in Queens, living in Queens. My wife got a phone call, and she told me it's the producer, Rob Burnett from Letterman, on Saturday afternoon. And he just told me Dave liked what he saw. They were thinking about a development deal for you. Just know that we're talking about it, so don't sign with anybody else. And I told him, there's nobody else, man. There's nobody else.
You're free.
Yeah. And that turned into Everybody Loves Raymond. They produced the show. They set me up with writers. I've met Phil Rosenthal.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and it worked out. We got on the air and we stayed on the air. Yeah.
So then that leads to the next one. True or false? You hated the title Everybody Loves Raymond so much that they made a deal with you at CBS that if it was a top 10 show, they would change the name. The show cracked the top 10. You went in saying, now it's time to change the name of the show. And we can't because it's a top 10 show.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
What did you hate about the title? What do you like Everybody
come
Loves
on.
Raymond?
I mean, you're a neurotic, insecure comedian. To have everybody love, it's going to be ridiculed. They're going to do a play. They still, to this day, if something doesn't go well, it's, well, not everybody loves Raymond, It's just hard. And my manager was like, you got to have your name in the title, though. It's got to be, Seinfeld, Drew Carey. You got to have your name. And so I came up with alternates. I go, here's what it was. Yeah. Everybody Loves Raymond was a sarcastic comment that my brother was a New York City police officer.
Yes.
And at the time, one day he said, I go to work, people shoot at me. Raymond goes to work, and everybody loves Raymond. That's a true quote from my brother. So when in writing the script with Phil Rosenthal, I told him that story. He said, well, we got to put that in. And not only that, but let's make it the title. And I said, no. He goes, it's a working title. We'll change it. Yeah. And then that happened. So then I came up with, my manager still has a little piece of paper with all the alternates I put in, but some of them are absurd.
You got some of them? What
it was, because you have to keep Raymond in the title. So it was That Raymond Guy. Mm-hmm. And one of them was Raymond. U-M, Raymond.
Raymond.
Yes. Anyway, the CBS took, I gave them this list, and they said, we'll test it. And they test, like they do everything. They test it. Yeah. They put it in front of an audience. And they said, Everybody Loves Raymond tested better. And I was like, that's why we shouldn't do it. We should go the other way.
Right.
But then he made that. I said, listen, it's going to be a top 10 show. I was kind of just goofing around. This is going to be top 10. I'm going to have to live with that. And he said, if it's top 10, you can change it to whatever you want. And when it was top 10, that's exactly what he said. Well, we can't change it now. You know, yeah. You're in.
Raymond.
Raymond.
Would not have had the same ring to it.
Raymond's tree, like family tree. Oh, they were horrible.
Tree.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything. Yeah.
Well, it kind of worked out.
Yeah. I'm not. I guess I am complaining, but I'm not complaining. Yeah.
All right, last one for you. True or false? It took 45 minutes every day to create your Brian Grazer-inspired hairdo on Get Shorty. What we see on the screen right there. That took 45 minutes every day for you?
I don't know if it took that long.
Okay.
You know, it definitely took longer than to wash it out. But yeah, that was.
So that's your hair. That's it. Like they would just put all sorts of stuff in it.
Inspired by Mr. Grazer. Yeah. I would have to keep, whenever I saw him, I would have to tell him, I'm just doing the hair. It's not you. The character I play is not you, because the character was, I don't think he was flattered by that character.
Well, yeah, that's also, Elmore Leonard, so it's not,
yes.
As a heck, that was a fun show, man.
Thank you.
That was great. You got a good Scorsese, De Niro, or Pesci story from The Irishman, like your favorite go-to, Ray? I mean, I imagine as a kid from Queens.
Yes, it was crazy.
That you were in a Scorsese movie with those guys.
Total surreal.
Had to be.
Yeah, I have two stories, and they may be long, but I don't know if you can edit it.
We have a few minutes.
They're not that long, actually.
Okay.
But the first one was my first scene with De Niro. First of all, just the fact that I'm in there is nuts, right? Yeah. Okay. And now Martin Scorsese I knew from Vinyl. There was a show Vinyl.
Sure, on HBO.
Right.
Right.
So that's why he cast me in this. But he just cast me in this. In Vinyl, I had to audition.
Yeah.
So he saw what I was going to do in Vinyl.
Okay.
So the fact that he cast me in Vinyl, well, he knows what I'm going to do because he's seen it. Mm-hmm. Now he's casting me in Irishman. Just, I want you to play this role. So I'm terrified because what if I don't know this? What if he doesn't like what I'm doing with this character? Okay. So now on day 2, I'm doing my first scene with De Niro, and it's a pretty big scene. We're sitting across, and I'm playing a lawyer. He's a young union guy, mm-hmm. and I'm... Yes, that's the scene right there.
This is the scene, great.
Yes. And we're going back and forth. And it takes a long time to do a scene like that, like 3-4 hours, this side, that side, this side.
Yeah.
And De Niro is a man of a few words, Yes. And so the scene ends, I'm 3-4 hours, Scorsese's right there. And listen, I don't need people to pat me on the back, but I think I needed it right there, I did. And nothing. I get nothing from Scorsese, nothing from De Niro. I go to my car, the day's over. I go to my car, I'm driving to the hotel, and I call my wife, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I really don't know. They didn't say anything. And she's like, just relax, And I'm really in turmoil now, like
mm-hmm. Tearing yourself up.
Can I get fired from this? Maybe. I don't know. I get to the hotel, we're checking in, it's in Long Island. I'm checking in, and it's about 2 hours after we wrap now. And all of a sudden I hear Ray, and I look, and it's De Niro. And I go, oh, hey, and not a word. Walks over, grabs me, kisses me on the cheek, walks away. Now, you would think that's a good thing, but it is a mafia movie. So,
well, it wasn't on the lips, right?
No,
I mean, now that would have been a very
no.
Godfather moment.
No, but it was, I went to my room,
That's
and I called my wife, and I said, I think I'm okay. That was the one thing. Now, Pacino, just real quick,
sure.
If I'm running late.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
that's amazing.
They had to, yeah. And by the way, he was great. De Niro was great. He doesn't say much, but he's a great guy. Yeah, we got to speak, and he was lovely, man. So then the movie, I play when I'm 50, I play when I'm 60, I play when I'm 70 and 80. So when I was older, they would put me in a little bit of a fat suit underneath, just a little thing. So I have a pouch there. And you're shooting out of order. One scene you're shooting, you're in your 50s. Next thing you're in your 70s, So we go to lunch, and we come back, and we're getting ready. And it's for the next scene. And it's me and Al Pacino. And I'm sitting there, and he's getting ready to do the scene. And he looks at me, and he gets a little worried face. He goes, oh, what scene is this, Ray? I didn't know you were wearing the thing. And I went, I'm not wearing it, Al.
Oh, no.
Yes, I must have had a lot to eat for lunch.
Gosh.
And he thought I had my pouch on. It's like asking a woman when she's due.
And she's not pregnant.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
and he started laughing, and he said, Ray, what are you trying to look like me now? You know, it was,
you trying to cover it up a little bit?
Yeah, he was funny. He was funny.
Oh, my gosh.
By the way, he's, you know, I'd say De Niro is not a man of few words. Pacino is just the opposite, and they were both great in their own way. Yeah.
And I know we're up against it, but I do want to just a couple more minutes. Is it true you're playing Jim Valvano in a movie, or you're trying to, or
we
this
are?
Is in the
We're in
works?
production. We're trying to get it ready for the fall. I hope we get it ready because I know everything about Jim, and I know I'm older than Jim was, so we got to do a couple little special effects. But I've been trying for 10 years. You know, ever since I knew about Jim, of course, and I saw the documentary Survive in Advance. I don't know if you've seen that. It's my favorite sports documentary. And I fell in love with it, and I fell in love with him. Even before that, you know, as iconic as he was. But he's from Queens. He's Italian. He has that gift. I kind of look like him. I mean, I'm getting older now, the gray maybe. But we'll fix all that. And we're trying to get it. The script is written. We're trying to get it going. You know, that would be probably, story. You know, next to being with Scorsese, this would be as surreal as it gets. You know, an honor to try to do that, you know.
Then bring Jim Valvano back to life and recall his life, and his speech at the ESPYs is truly iconic. And
if you watch the documentary, there's speeches like that all over it, you know. Yeah, I really recommend it. If you haven't seen Survive in Advance, you have to see that, yeah.
And everybody go see Somewhere in Queens, written, directed, and part of a terrific cast. Laurie Metcalf, Sebastian Maniscalco, Tony Lobianco, and more. A beautiful movie, very, very worth your time, in theaters on Friday, April 21st. Ray Romano, a pleasure.
Could you say I love the movie? I just want to hear.
I love the movie. Rich Eisen. I did. By the way, I am not going higher register.
We spoke about it off air. How if you go, I love the movie.
No. The movie's really good. Like, no, I'm not that. No, I love the movie. I saw it, and it was familiar to me.
I appreciate it.
From Staten Island, I grew up with people like this. It is a story. It is a beautiful story of a dad trying to do something for his son, and sometimes it doesn't go very well, and it's beautiful. So, congrats.
Appreciate it.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.